They've raised $10 million out of Aspen, and I take the other places in your district. It's all flowing through there because of you.
It's not just Aspen that the money is coming from. It's coming from Hollywood. When you have Barbara Streisand coming in and donating to the Democrat, when you have Ryan Reynolds coming in and donating to the Democrat, it shows you that Hollywood is trying to buy their way into Congress. You have George Soros and his dark money groups that have already spent $2 million in a non-election year in Colorado's 3rd district. I'm not abandoning my district. I love Colorado's 3rd district and will continue to fight for each and every person who's in the district.
Okay, so Boebert has to explain why it is that she ran away from her district to run in a more red one. Understand, everybody already knows exactly why she did it. She thought that she would lose there, so she's going to a place where she thinks she can win. But just saying I was scared doesn't make you look like a tough guy. So instead, it's Hollywood was buying the election. So suddenly, dark money being present in this election is reason enough that she should flee to a different place where presumably there will be no dark money for some reason. Anyway, she has repeatedly, both in that appearance and in other appearances, said that this election is being bought by people like Barbara Streisand and Ryan Reynolds. And they have donated to Adam Frisch, the Democrat that she would have been running against. They've each donated $1,500. So I guess that's it. $3,000 from these Hollywood titans, and she would have no chance of winning. So she has to run to the other side of the state. Look, it's laughable. I think that dark money is a bad thing. I think that out-of-state money can be a really bad thing in these elections, but it's also perfectly fine from her point of view in every other case than this one. So it is opportunistic at the least to say that that is what justifies her fleeing to a different race. Anyway, I'm coming at this just as a commentator. Nina, you've dealt with dark money flooding in. So what do you think about her excuse here?
Yeah, I wish she had that kind of concern about dark money overall. This is just about self-preservation for her, flat out. She doesn't care about her constituents, because if she did, she would stay there and fight it out instead of fleeing to another district. She barely won the first time, John, and that's all that this is. And I wish she would woman up and just say, hey, y'all, I'm scared as hell. This is all about me. And I'm going to a district where the odds will be better. If she cares about dark money, and we all should care about dark money, who that money is coming from and why it's coming into the district, then why don't she stand up and stump with people who are trying to get real campaign finance reform in the United States of America? Let's do that. But no, she's not gonna do that. She's just gonna blame Hollywood, because ultimately she doesn't give a damn about dark money overall from a policy perspective and how it pollutes and dilutes the voices of people that live in these various districts. All she cares about is me, myself, and I, meaning her, and then her. And she found a loophole, so she's gonna jump her little cowardice self on over to another district where the odds for a Republican to win is stronger.
Yeah, 100%. Look, you can, as a result of like redistricting, end up technically in a different district, but still like be among your constituents to the extent that you can. But like, it's just, I think it just sheds such a bad light on how some people approach elected office, that you have Lauren Boebert, who like owns a restaurant or whatever, presumably, let's say cares about her community. Let's extend that to her. I don't think it's true, but let's say that it is. Runs for office. And now she still wants to be a congressperson, but is not gonna fight to convince her constituents to support her. Instead, she goes shopping for constituents who will support her. But like, that's where you lived. That's where your business was. That's the area that supposedly you cared so much about that you went into elected office and allowed your restaurant to go bankrupt or whatever. Now, it clearly is not about that. It's just, I like being in power, and I will go literally wherever I have to stay in power. And that just, it just seems so fundamentally wrong. I know in comparison to the way that elected office has been treated in so many different ways, maybe this doesn't rate as a really big version of this, but it just bothers me, Nina, that people treat these positions as so unimportant. Like when Ted Cruz or whatever like spends more time recording podcasts than actually being a senator. It's like they clearly don't have any respect for the offices that they actually hold.
No, they're being exposed, John. This is just another example. Is it the worst example? No. Is she the only one? No. But it's yet another reminder of why we need real deep-seated reforms in electoral politics. The examples are piling up. That's all this is. It is an example, and it's an important example. Even if people think it's minor, it is an example, and it shows how incredibly selfish she is, and others who've done it, because Democrats have done it too. So it's not just her. Others have done it. They continue to do it. And the point that you made, John, about power, that's all this is. It is a pure unadulterated power grab. And they really don't care about deep-seatedly changing systems in this country so that they bend towards the will of more everyday Americans in this country. They just don't. It's really all about them.
100%. She's fighting so hard. She's indicating to me that she did not work hard enough behind the scenes to set up a lobbying job, and she still needs a few more years to get that done. And then she can be cast out of Congress or whatever. But for now, and she doesn't have enough faith in the right-wing podcast that she could launch. She has to cling to power to not really use it. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.